I think it's really important to understand that when we're building a team of partners, it's building a team of area experts, of people who are bringing value to not just one party, but to all parties. It's a different concept. It's not top-down. It's really integrative, and it's really kind of side to side. And the idea is that we're trying to build a situation where everyone gets something out of working together. When I think about driving collaboration through the CRO partnership, again, speaking as a sponsor or industry representative, I am thinking about my end customer, which isn't just the surgeon or the hospital or the study nurse. I'm also thinking about the patient. And so when I'm thinking about partnering with a CRO and driving collaboration, it's with those folks in mind. And coming from a medical device trial perspective, we sometimes work with folks who are not as familiar with multi-center sponsored industry trials. These are very savvy individuals who do a lot of research with their residents, perhaps out of a native or organic database that they maintain. But the response and requirements and responsibilities of source documents, informed consents in the multi-center clinical trial environment, EDC, IVRS, and the rest, it's a construct that they're not always familiar with. And so how do we make that simple, value added, something that is of interest to the surgeon and the study nurse? Ultimately, if we're having some sort of electronic interaction or other interaction with the patient, how are we easing that burden as well? How is there a value to all of those folks? And that's what I want to see when we approach a process or a tool that we're looking to put in place. That kind of collaboration and thought, what is the end user? Who is our customer? And it's not just me as the sponsor or as industry, it's the caregiver and it's the patient ultimately. So there's some tremendous things happening in the industry right now. And one of the things that I'm most excited about is the use of technology. But the thing I'm also most concerned about is the use of technology. It's really easy to start siloing. And when we have a problem or a question, we're going to use this database with this login with this password. And then we're going to do this activity in this database with this password. And, oh, you forgot your password, so you need to talk to this tech support person, but not this tech support person. Oh, yes, and we're going to go online and get your invoices and payments from this database over here with this person. And again, remember, I'm reflecting on people who are not doing this as a common activity. These are not research mills, people who are very savvy. This is a first time or a sidelight, maybe 2% of their normal workload. And so now we have to put this in a format that is comfortable and easy for them. And sometimes that really is just picking up the phone or doing it the old-fashioned way. I think one of the things we have to do is we have to break down the barriers between sponsor industry and CROs, and we have to break down the barriers between CROs and, say, the sites. I think that there is a tendency to view the other party as an enemy. And I think that there's a lot of value when we can integrate fully into one study team. And that's where I start thinking about, okay, how can we add value? How can I create an environment where partnering with my team and industry, and in some cases I'm actually embedding my study team into the vendor CRO team, brings value to the CRO. And how can the CRO bring value to the surgeon? And it's sometimes taking on that extra question or two to find out about the indication and not just be focused on coming in and doing my source document verification and moving on. And to be fair, our monitors get a lot of pressure, right? They're the front man out there on the site. But I think that goes for anybody that we're dealing with the site with. So it could be the data manager, it could be the regulatory startup person, it could be the budgets or contracts negotiator. It's, again, coming back to that customer focus. How do I make this easier or better for the person I'm dealing with? What I'd like to see more from the CROs is I would like to see a willingness to break out a little bit from our silos and to collaborate across the teams. And that includes within the different functions at a CRO, but that also includes the role of sponsor as well. And again, I'm happy to have those conversations as sponsor. I really love it when people are passionate about my product, about my project. I mean, this is obviously something I'm putting a lot of time and energy in. I'm ecstatic about this product. I want other people to share that excitement too and care about it as much as I do. And sometimes I fear that this is just another piece of another day for other people. So what do I think I can do? I think I can help break down some of those trust barriers. I can make it so that there isn't that wall between us. I can have that, I'm not out to get the CRO or monitor. I'm not out to stick my thumb on them, and I'm not going to play the game that sometimes we play among each other where we set different parties against each other. Again, my perspective on this is it's collaborative. If there's a problem, we sit down together and we fix it. There's no issue with making mistakes. Mistakes happen. There's no issue with having a gap. Gaps happen. Where the problem is if we don't step up and take care of it. And so I just want that proactive attitude for everybody. There's always the pressure of economics and finance and time, because when we're stepping into a new area or we're crossing over into an area that is not within our normal area of specialty, there's going to be a learning curve. I personally find value in that. Now, it may be, again, that I'm in a device trial, and a lot of our trials might be a little bit more slowly enrolling, and so there's that ability to take on the extra roles. I think that pays off at the end, though, in that A, it's fulfilling to the team, but B, it also creates some continuity for the end customer. So if I'm talking to you and your area of specialty would normally be just this one thing, and then I would talk to someone else for this other thing, and now I'm talking to one person for both, or even 3 things, now the friction on the other side is less. And maybe you're saving that person time, and what is the value there? Granted, it's not yours, but that's part of what I'm talking about when I say collaboration. It's how do we create a win for everybody, because it's not a win unless the study succeeds. Industries should take on a more proactive role with their CROs. And when I say proactive, I really mean it in a positive sense. Get involved, ask questions, take advantage of the expertise that they're bringing to the table. They have a lot to share with you. But by the same token, I would also encourage the CROs to be interested not just in the day-to-day routine activities, but also hear some of that passion and excitement that the sponsors and industry, and also on the site side, have for what's happening. Because really, this is a tremendous opportunity to impact medical care. And again, ultimately a patient. Someone is going to benefit at the end of the day because of the work that you're doing right here, right now. And end of the day might be 5 years from now at the end of a long FDA regulatory process. But you're changing lives. And that's a pretty impressive thing. So one of the things that I'm particularly proud of is on a current project that we have, we've actually embedded our clinical specialists from the sponsor side in the study team. And so they are taking care of the investigational product. They're going out to the surgical centers. They're working with the hospital staff in coordination and conjunction with our vendors who are managing the monitoring of the clinical trial and handling a lot more of the regulatory compliance for the clinical sites. And through that partnership, we're having, I think, a really great interaction. We've managed to create trusting relationships between us and the CRO team, and I'm really proud of that. And I think that the CRO should also be commended because it takes a lot of work not to view us as the enemy. I'm really proud of the fact that we're integrating the surgeons also into this team, and that they are part of this conversation always. They're the ones who are giving us the solutions for their particular hospital. Because again, in our particular area, and I recognize this may not be the same for everyone, but in our particular area, it really does depend on this particular facility with this particular configuration. And these 3 people, you know, maybe the surgeon, maybe a study nurse, maybe the CRA, they work out what should work there. So it's a team from sponsor all the way through to the healthcare provider, the surgeon, and the study nurse.